The Galactic Empire had stretched its reach across countless star systems, claiming worlds and bending them to its will with advanced technology and overwhelming power. For centuries, no race had dared to challenge the Empire's might. So when their scouts first encountered the humans on a small, rocky planet at the edge of known space, the Empire's leaders barely paid attention. The reports came back quickly. Humans were primitive, slow to develop, and poorly armed. Their settlements were simple, their weapons outdated by galactic standards. To the Empire, these humans seemed like no more than weak animals, easy prey, to be conquered or ignored. Yet what the scouts failed to notice at first was the quiet strength hiding beneath the humans' rough appearance. The humans showed an unexpected toughness, quickly organizing to protect their homes from the Empire's minor patrols that came to investigate. Even when outgunned and outmatched, they fought back with a strange kind of courage that puzzled the scouts. Instead of fleeing, the humans used clever traps and improvised defenses, using their knowledge of the planet's harsh environment to their advantage. The Empire, confident in its superior firepower and technology, wrote off these early signs as mere stubbornness, not realizing it was the first glimpse of a powerful force they had never seen before. The humans were different from any other species the Empire had faced. They were not relying on technology alone, but on heart, creativity, and an unyielding will to survive. Still, the Empire's leaders remained blind to these traits, dismissing them as weaknesses rather than strengths. This dangerous mistake would soon set the stage for a conflict neither side was fully prepared for, as the humans began to show that survival was more than a game of weapons. It was about spirit, determination, and the fierce refusal to be conquered. As the scouts returned to report more detailed observations, tensions quietly grew. But the Empire remained confident that the humans could be crushed with little effort. What no one yet knew was that these underestimated humans were about to ignite a war that would shake the entire galaxy, and that the Empire's biggest mistake was to think they were weak. The fragile peace between the humans and the Galactic Empire shattered in an instant when an Empire survey team sent to map out the planet and gather resources mistakenly destroyed a small human village during a routine operation. The village was believed to be a military outpost, but in truth it was home to families who had lived there for generations. The sudden explosion and fire tore through the settlement, sending shock and grief rippling across the human communities. What might have been a small accident became a spark that lit a growing flame of resistance. The humans, bound by shared loss and a fierce loyalty to one another, refused to be crushed or frightened. Rising from the ashes of their broken homes was a leader named Commander Ilara, whose calm strength and clear vision inspired those around her. Ilara had grown up learning the harsh ways of the planet, understanding its forests, rivers, and rocky cliffs like the back of her hand. She knew that standing toe-to-toe with the Empire's advanced soldiers and machines was impossible in a direct fight. Instead, she crafted a bold strategy based on human creativity, unpredictability, and the planet's natural defenses. Under her leadership, the humans abandoned the idea of traditional warfare. They built traps from the environment, setting hidden pitfalls and camouflaged obstacles that could stop the Empire's heavy vehicles in their tracks. They adapted old machines and scrap technology, combining it with clever tactics to surprise the enemy. Ilara's plan was not just about fighting back, but about outthinking the Empire at every turn, using speed, stealth, and teamwork. As the Empire sent more troops to quell the disturbance, they found themselves walking into ambushes, losing supplies and facing enemies who seemed to disappear into the wilds only to strike when least expected. The humans' determination to protect their home grew stronger with every skirmish, and their unity became their greatest weapon. While the Empire still saw them as primitive, the humans' bold resistance forced the Empire's commanders to reconsider their approach. The battle lines were no longer drawn simply on technology and numbers, but on willpower and strategy. Every encounter left the Empire puzzled and frustrated, wondering how such simple beings could challenge their might. The spark of conflict, once a tragic accident, now roared into a full blaze that threatened to consume the Empire's plans. Behind the scenes, Ilara prepared her people for the long fight ahead, knowing that this was more than a battle for land. It was a fight for survival, identity, and freedom. The tension grew as the Empire realized the humans would not bend or break, and the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see which side would claim victory. The Galactic Empire, confident in the unstoppable power of its advanced war machines, soon found itself struggling in unfamiliar territory as the humans embraced guerrilla warfare with unmatched skill and daring. Large tanks and towering battlesuits designed to crush any opponent in open combat became easy targets in the dense forests, rocky hills, and narrow canyons where humans struck quickly and vanished without a trace. Commander Ilara's forces grew bolder by the day, launching daring raids deep into enemy territory. They attacked supply lines that kept the Empire's massive armies fueled and armed, destroying convoys under the cover of darkness and slipping away before reinforcements could arrive. The Empire's generals, used to swift and overwhelming victories, were thrown into confusion and frustration. Their carefully planned campaigns faltered as key installations, fuel depots, communication towers, weapon factories were sabotaged by the resourceful humans who used homemade explosives and hacked into control systems with surprising skill. While the Empire's soldiers and machines were powerful, they were slow to adapt, weighed down by rigid tactics and overconfidence. Meanwhile, behind the front lines, human scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to learn from captured Imperial technology. With limited resources but boundless curiosity, they studied every piece of alien equipment they could find, reverse engineering advanced weapons and shielding systems. From this knowledge, they developed new devices that turned the Empire's own strengths against them, creating electronic jammers that scrambled enemy sensors and simple but effective armor enhancements that protected human fighters in close combat. The combination of Ilara's bold leadership, the scientists' ingenuity, and the soldiers' fierce determination turned the tide of the conflict in ways no one expected. The humans proved that raw firepower and overwhelming numbers were not enough to win a war against an opponent who fought with heart, imagination, and unbreakable spirit. Stories of small bands of human fighters slipping past entire squads of Empire troops, disabling war machines, and disappearing into the wilderness became legends, inspiring more to join the fight. The Empire's commanders realized that their greatest weapon, technology, was becoming a double-edged sword. The humans' unpredictability forced the Empire to rethink its strategies and acknowledge that victory would not come easily. Yet, despite the mounting setbacks, the Empire remained determined to crush the rebellion. Both sides prepared for the next phase of the war, knowing that the battles to come would decide not only control over a small planet but the future of human resistance against one of the galaxy's greatest powers. Suspense hung thick in the air as the struggle intensified, each day bringing new risks and unexpected victories, leaving the entire galaxy watching closely to see if the human spirit could truly overcome the Empire's might. After months of unexpected losses and growing resistance, the Galactic Empire could no longer ignore the humans' fierce defiance. What had once seemed like a minor rebellion on a distant planet had grown into a serious threat that challenged the very foundations of the Empire's control. Frustrated and determined to end the conflict quickly, the Empire's leaders ordered a full-scale assault, unleashing their most powerful fleets and armies in a relentless campaign to crush the human fighters once and for all. Massive warships filled the skies and ground forces poured onto the planet with overwhelming force, confident that sheer power would break the humans' will. But the humans were not easily broken. Across the stars, entire human colonies rallied to the cause, united by a deep sense of threat to their freedom and way of life. Communications between settlements became stronger and faster, allowing for a level of coordination the Empire had never expected. Commander Ilara, now a symbol of hope and resistance, led a coalition of human forces that had grown far beyond her original band of fighters. Using everything they had learned from years of struggle, the humans planned a daring counterattack that took the Empire by surprise. In a bold strike, they targeted the Empire's flagship, the heart of its command and control. Using stealth, precise timing, and their intimate knowledge of the planet's terrain, human fighters infiltrated the heavily guarded stronghold. Explosions rocked the massive vessel, crippling its systems and sending shockwaves through the Empire's ranks. The flagship's fall was a devastating blow that forced the Empire's commanders to call for an immediate retreat. abandoning their hopes of a swift victory. For the first time, the Empire's leadership faced the undeniable truth. These humans were not a mere nuisance or a minor rebellion, but a new and powerful force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. The realization sent ripples of doubt and fear through the halls of power, shaking the belief that the Empire's advanced technology and armies guaranteed victory. The humans had proven that unity, courage, and clever strategy could stand against even the most formidable foe. As the dust settled, the galaxy watched with growing respect and curiosity. The once overconfident Empire was humbled, and the humans, battered but unbroken, prepared for whatever challenges the future might bring. The war had reached a turning point, one that promised new dangers and new hopes, as two very different worlds clashed with far more at stake than either had imagined. After months of fierce battles and sacrifice on both sides, the war between the Galactic Empire and the humans finally drew to a close, not with a grand victory but through a fragile and uneasy ceasefire. The Empire, battered and humbled by the unexpected resilience and ingenuity of the humans, grudgingly recognized that this new race was no longer just a distant curiosity or a minor threat. They were a rising power in the galaxy, one that could no longer be ignored or dismissed. Across the human colonies, celebrations erupted, not just because the fighting had stopped, but because of what had been achieved against seemingly impossible odds. Families reunited and communities that had been torn apart by war began to heal, though everyone knew that peace was fragile and the future uncertain. Commander Ilara stood among her people, her heart heavy with both relief and the weight of responsibility. She gazed up at the vast night sky, stars sparkling like distant promises, and felt a deep stirring inside her, a feeling that humanity's true journey was only just beginning. The battles had revealed the strength of the human spirit, the power of unity, and the limitless potential when courage met determination. Ilara understood better than anyone that the Empire's greatest mistake had never been their weapons or fleets. It had been their decision to underestimate what it meant to be human, the will to survive, the desire for freedom, and the refusal to bow down to anyone. This war had changed the galaxy forever, opening a new chapter where humans would no longer be on the sidelines but at the heart of the cosmic story. Quietly, Ilara made a promise to herself and her people. They would be ready for whatever came next. The stars held challenges, mysteries, and dangers yet unseen, but humanity's place among them was certain now. With a steady breath, she turned, away from the sky, her mind already racing with plans, alliances, and dreams of exploration. The war had been only the first step, and the galaxy was wide and full of possibilities. The humans had won more than a battle. They had earned their future.